boys ndikuseka zvangu but kudhenu kwangu mahani guys. Ngenga ndeipi yamaitaura last week? Imi motaura zvinhu zvakadaro muchikanganwa kuti togara nanachihera. Wiki rese zvaingonzi, hey, if you don't retract that statement about Zimbabwean women being dramatic, ndopamutazonyatsokuona manje kuti drama chii. Boys rangu ndaane mudumbu guys rangu. Ndaane maausa mudumbu guys rangu. Ndinoziva kuti nditaure kuti ndaane stress. Boys raichondiseka richitoti iwo pawairora muZimbabwean woman waisaziva here kuti uchamhana bani. Apa ndipo unobvona na doctor kubva kurambidza kumadoro because anzi ausa rinozowedzera. But boys rangu ndinonyemedzera hangu kutsamwa but kutaura chokwadi hangu kafe ndagara hangu handitorina mari yacho yedoro. Boys rangu life ikurema boys, life ikurwadza guys rangu. I'm depressed and I don't know who to talk to guys. Ndakutotya kuti ndomhanya brain. Ndoita sei?
Right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Brothers with Voices. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. With me today, we have Thembile, and Thembile is a qualified counselor, right, with training in psychology. Hi, Thembile. How are you doing?
I'm good, Kudzi. How are you?
I'm great. Normally we wear our black T-shirts. Now Tafika blazer. It's make a sense.
Yes, shut up.
Anyway, the first thing I want to ask you is this. As a qualified consultant, right, I know people have talked about mental health, this, mental health, that, but does mental health really exist in Zimbabwe?
Of course it does. Like, mental health is all about your emotional, physical, psychological, and social well-being. So that is not like confined to a certain area or geographical location. So yeah, we all go through emotions and thoughts and highs and lows, the whole shebang.
So what are the kind of symptoms of mental health that you would say are there in Zim now? Like, what can we say? Because I know my mental health issues, maybe that person needs help, as opposed to agaroiwa or you know what I mean. What would you say are the symptoms there?
Yeah. So symptoms of mental health. So we have what we call common mental disorders, right?
Yeah.
This is your depression, anxiety, stress, the likes, and usually, when you're in that phase of your life, sometimes you don't sleep well. You lose your appetite, or you eat too much, or you sleep too much. You get very irritable. Sometimes you find that you don't enjoy the things that you're doing, the things that you usually like doing on a typical day. You're very withdrawn. You isolate yourself. You don't want to talk anymore. You don't want to hang with your friends anymore. You just become very unusual, and your routine is completely disrupted. So why we say this is like these are symptoms of common mental disorders, because at some point, it's natural for a person to feel depressed or anxious or stressed, and the reasons vary from, you could have lost your job, lost a loved one, something traumatic may have happened, relationships, family issues, absolutely anything. Because another thing that's important to consider is that we all have different thresholds for different things. What will stress you out might not stress me out in the same way, or what I can handle might not be precisely what you can handle. So
okay, I get that. But isn't that just a way of life? That we, of course, I would believe there are positives, the negatives to life, and things happen. Isn't just a way of life, though?
Well, to be honest, I do think it's integrated into our lives. I mean, highs and lows coexist, and both define the opposite, right?
Yes.
And that's okay. That's what we want people to know. That's what we need people to know. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. And it's okay if you want to talk to someone. That's why we're here. And it's not unusual. It doesn't mean wakupenga. We actually don't like to use the phrases like that.
3 years ago, 3 years ago, I was going through a really, bad patch, and I would see myself sleeping and staying in bed like for the whole day, right? And I would only kind of wake.
Yeah. What's this? What's going on?
Yo, hi.
Hey, hello.
What's going on here, man?
Guys, I wanted. Okay, let me explain.
What do you want to explain?
Sorry, guys. Like,
Explanation was.
my jacket. Because my magachina, magapika my grass.
You look nice though.
Thank you very much.
For sure.
Oh, hi, Thembile. How are you?
Thembile. Hi.
Hi guys, nice to meet you too.
Jeez, Kudzi, bro. Trikuona, Kudzi gossip.
Guys, let's talk about this after. Okay, so let's make sure we give people something, right? So because we agreed, mental health guys, let's bring in an expert, someone who's qualified. She's a qualified consultant, so let's talk about that. I just asked her what mental health is and does it really, exist in Zimbabwe, and she said yes. And I asked about the symptoms, right? Mental health, mental health, and she talked about the normal things that we go through and other things that we're going to talk about now. But the next question is because of the social dynamics, right? The social dynamics have changed in Zimbabwe, and the economy is down too. So you would see that the man's role as a provider in most homes right now is non-existent, because the woman is also pulling weight, but that's also affecting the man because the man is, wants to be seen as the provider. And that affects a lot of decision-making processes too, because the woman is now pulling weight so she can make decisions. She's also wearing the pants. What are your thoughts on that?
I think perception is everything, Everything starts in the mind. Ooh, I sound so psychological right now. Everything starts in the mind. So, if you're going to see your partner get a job as a challenge to your authority, a challenge to your pants, that's going to be problems. But then if you try and see it positively, like, okay, we're helping each other so that we live the life that we both dream of, so that she gets the happiness from her work that I could never give her, and he gets the happiness from his work that I could never give him. But then we're both happy as individuals and we're happy together. This is why also marriage counseling is very much advised, so that, people get to talk, air out their views, their fears, their assumptions, expectations, everything.
I just charge you room. Chris, yo, Chris, you'll be okay.
It's a tricky situation. I mean, at some point we have to accept that the dynamics have changed, but in the same line, even though the dynamics have changed, we're looking at a situation now where we're saying, are we comfortable with it as men? And personally, as a man is something to which
the way you said that, though, that K was exclamation.
No offense. I see myself as a young gentleman out here, Dazorora and stuff, having a situation whereby I'm not working and my wife is paying the bills, she's feeding me and all that, and then now I have to do the household chores. It's a bit tricky for me. Like, I feel like I should be the head of the house, like, because how are you going to talk about anything tangible and contribute in the family when you're not bringing bread to the table? You got to bring bread and butter. But then also like, it's going to be tricky. Like, the woman is not going to respect you, number one. That marriage is going to be in shambles very soon, because I think I will challenge you with that comrade. Maybe I'm not going to change. I'm not saying about who do you think you are? Would it dumb dummy?
You know what I mean? Thank you. Preach. Yeah, no, I think I agree with Chris. It's hard. It's not easy to change the dynamics, because I mean, okay, look at it from my point of view. That's how I grew up, though. Like, My old man was the man. My mom was amazing, and she is the woman. Like she runs the show now. Actually, like it is what it is. But like I'm saying, she's a boss. She's a boss.
She's a boss.
She's a boss. My dad is a boss. But when in the cabin, it is what it is, bro. Like this is how it is. So if you take away the breadwinnerness out of it, it becomes very difficult for Mdara to be Mdara or to be feared at that level. I believe in fear when you're kids. That's how I believe in it. So yeah, I'm just saying it's the dynamics kind of change. It's difficult.
Okay, but okay, so the dynamics have changed, and the woman is also fighting to get. I'm talking about a household whereby right now, because we have 89.5% quoted unemployment. Employment rate. Meaning mind that's all informal settlement. Let's talk about COVID-19 right now. Right? There are people that have known each other for 40 years and they have just discovered now that they actually don't know each other because they were forced to be padeni. And at the time where you're having to discover and no my decisions and things like that, you're having to discover that now. And the one apana big, right? Apana big but then and the because social distancing, right? Then we have had a lot of cases of domestic violence. Do you think it's as a result of that too? Because I'm not able to provide. Because that you're not providing, you're doing this. As a man, and this is Sina, Jimbo. You went on to my perfume to walk the last week. Don't walk, Shannon, I don't take this out, and you know, say, provide a panapa. You are panapa. What's your take on that one?
No, but then, like I said, I think perception is everything. Because then, where's the food supposed to come from? Like, are we supposed to starve? And I guess that, in Zimbabwe, in Africa, it's like, okay, it's Thembile, stay at home. Your husband's going to go to work. But then, like, times have changed. I can go to work if I want to. And I need you to be okay with me going to work and knowing that it doesn't make me any less of a wife. And you working or not working may not particularly make you any less of a husband. And if you have a problem with being charged, go ahead and provide. If you want me to sell the perfumes, please sell
it's in a perfume.
Thembile, wait, Thembile, hold on. Like, look, well, what we're saying is like, okay, fine, provider. But because you know that your man is struggling, and then you're like, okay, let me take up the perfume business, let me sell some perfumes and all that stuff, right? You are basically helping out, standard procedure. But where we're trying to say, where my issue is now, is that my mental health is going to be affected by the fact of you mentioning stuff like, Saka, what do you want us to start? Right? Even already in my mind, so that from that statement alone, I would take it as if obviously I'm gonna get drunk every day constantly because I'm like Zongo doesn't respect me.
You do that already.
And obviously it's gonna depress me. It's gonna put me into depression. You know what I mean? It's gonna put me into depression because Zongo doesn't respect me anymore. You know what I mean? That's
I get that. I get that. I mean, language and approach is everything. I mean, I also want to show you, you probably need to sit down about it and have a stern conversation, an honest conversation, a productive conversation. You're as the woman, I'm actively challenging whatever it is that you're doing and not doing and stuff like that. But here's where I think mental health in men comes in: the inability to get help. you know, or the inability to say, okay, maybe I need to talk to someone. This, I feel like our socialization does not teach men to reach out for help. Like if I'm to look at the clients I've seen, less than 5% are men. Some of the men that reach out sometimes will book a session, but then will not come through. You know, that's where I think mental health men comes in.
Yeah, because you know, you don't want to, but yeah.
Mem, I've got a question, mem.
Yes.
Because okay, you're talking about dudes asking for help. Like everyone has got, I think, okay, maybe on a personal level, like I wouldn't rush to look for help because when someone is stressed in Zimbabwe, everything is stressful, you know. So what's so special about me that I can't make a plan to get out of my stressful situation and, you know, do what I need to do to be all right? What's so special about me to then go and look for help? You know, stress, it's not an abnormal, it's not like I'm living in a place where everyone is fine and I'm stressed. Everyone is stressed.
Yeah.
Everything is not working. So
Yes.
how do I justify my stress?
That's a very good question. What's so special about you? The very fact that you feel that way, that's more than enough. And like you say, everybody goes through this. It's not, it doesn't have a target population, it doesn't have an age preference, it doesn't have a gender preference. It's everyone. But then it's important for people to know that help is there for everyone. It doesn't make you weaker or stronger or anything. It's just that we help each other through life's most difficult times so that we're all at an optimum in our lives. And yes, counseling and therapy, so that one day you don't need us as counselors or as therapists. You're equipped to know how to deal with, you know, the next situation. If you need to see a professional again, please go ahead. But then the mere fact that you feel a certain type of way, that's what makes you special. Okay, everybody's special. Yeah,
I'm
Really?
special.
But
special.
doesn't that show vulnerability? Because I think because we are men, we are supposed to be strong, right? We are supposed to be strong, right? We are supposed to be men, right? When we are facing a lot of things, right? I will probably speak to myself. I burst inwardly, right? As a man. But when it comes to a female can burst out crying and like, right?
Yeah.
And they've released that whole thing. But we bottle a lot of things inside us, right?
It's okay.
Personally, this is how I try to let off my steam. I go out and I run and I have a conversation with myself, right? I have a conversation.
Not doing it.
We are not running.
I'm not doing it. I'm not going to dumb.
I gotta just shout out, it's an honor,
Oh my own story.
But that's the only time I can be honest to myself.
No, that's actually very healthy. That's actually very healthy because, like I say, it's not good to always bottle up things and stuff like that. This is another problem I have with this, with our socialization. Men are taught to be strong. They can't need help. They can't need to talk. They can't need a shoulder because I'm a man and you cannot tell me that I can't deal with my own issues. Yeah, that's another problem I have because suicide rates amongst men have really gone up over the years. You know, and sometimes this could have been prevented if just someone was like, it's okay, everything is going to be fine. Let's talk about what it is you're going through. Let's try and have a healthy conversation so that you turn whatever negative event you have going on in your life into something positive that you can then find strength from later as you go on in life, you know. So yeah, I think running is a good idea. I think talking to yourself like that is a good idea. Yeah.
No, it's a if I can clarify on this one a little bit better. So
yeah,
because I take a lot of walks and I like doing these trails and stuff, and I find myself in the middle of nowhere where like I'm in a park or something like that, and it's just me, and I find myself just talking to myself and Kudzai, why don't you do this? There's that inner self that's there. Remember, Panika make a blast, inappropriate mic. Karimkati, Paita Kudzai, right? Kudzai, the good person that was raised well, and Kudzai that knows the right stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then Muritu Manje, Monica conversation but why is it sometimes you get too angry just like that? Why can't you do A, B, C, and D? Why can't you? And then that's kind of, Mike character comes in and says, but that's who you are. You are a straight talker, You're a straight talker. That you just tell people like it is. That's how it's better to say it than not to say it. You know what I mean? So
that's
kind of dimension. Yeah. Chris, what do you think about, do you ever have those moments where you kind of have a debate with yourself?
I mean, firstly, maybe let me open up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey,
We love to see it. We
we're
love to
therapist
see
here,
it.
but this is why. Yeah. Open
So
up.
Yeah.
basically, myself, after I reached the other side of 25, I went through this spell of the whole depression, over drinking, even though I still do it, but all that the weird stuff that comes with depression itself. Like it was actually clinical depression at that point. You find that, yes, Kudzi, you are right. Like you get to a stage where you convince yourself, like, yeah, whatever, man, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care. Because what I would tell myself was like, people are gonna judge you anyways. Why should you care? Why should I care that people are gonna judge me? I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna drive drunk home. Don't drive drunk, guys. But I'm gonna do that. That's what I was doing because I was depressed. I wasn't thinking right. I was in the right frame of mind. But the inner voice in me was like, as long as these people are gonna judge you, they might as well judge you for whatever. Screw them, to be honest. That was me at that point. So my inner voice was very bad. I think it was more of the, you know how it is in cartoons. You got the angel and then you got the devil this side. For me, I feel it was like the devil that was in control at that point, whereby I really was not in control of my own life at that point. I was spiraling down. And I thank God I got saved. I got lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones that actually survived these type of things as a man. But that inner voice, honestly, was a very bad thing. So it's now a matter, I would say, would be a situation. I don't know, maybe the therapist can confirm this, that it's now a matter of saying, okay, do I really want to do this now? Think about it properly and say, look, I'm gonna need to take some time off and really think about it before I get into this at this point.
Bati, share with us like your experience of maybe where you.
I'm a man. I ain't never been depressed my whole damn life. I'm good. No, I'm kidding. Actually, you know what? I've been in situations recently, and actually, depression starts at a very young age. It's not about just in men, but in boys as well. Like, I remember as a 15-year-old, 15-year-old, I think if I look back, I've got 2 times in my life where I can sit down and say, no, there I was depressed, like legit depressed. I've even got a silly nickname that goes with it, that I won't get into. We'll get into another day. I've got a nickname based on my depression because at that time, my friends didn't understand what it was. So I've got a nickname right now. There's 2 of my homies who till today call me Sui. That's my nickname. I will get into another day. Literally. But they didn't know how to deal with it because I was depressed to that level of stress. And it was just, they made a joke out of it and I got out of it, lucky enough. I got out of it and I'm cool. But like, it affected me significantly. But so it starts when you're young.
Well done. Congrats, man. Congrats. I'm not going to lie, man. I got to clap.
Yeah.
It takes it takes a lot.
So we do agree that it does take a lot to deal with this stuff. Right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So from a male perspective, it takes a lot to deal with what is called depression, especially if you're a guy. Because you have that thing that you also have to be strong at the same time, but people would never understand. So I want to talk about talking to people, right? I don't talk to anyone about my problems. I don't even talk to my own mother because I want her to be strong for me, but I don't want her to see my vulnerability side. So she doesn't even know the things I've gone through, other things that she only knows the glorified Kudzai that I'm actually sad to say other people that know me on Facebook, and she has kind of joined those people that know me on Facebook, right? Although I call her, I'm so far, I'm like so much apart from her, but she just knows the strong Kudai. She just knows him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, this topic really hits home for me because this is a topic that really affected me as a man, right? Thembi, could you mention the aspect of humor being a deflector for his depression and his stress in life, right?
Yeah.
How is it like? How do you build a support structure around that? Like, I mean, for example, we're brothers and all that, right? We're cool. We talk to each other and everything. But how do you build a support structure around that where you know, okay, I'm about to fall into this state. I know that what I'm doing right now is depression because now we have identified the several items that you can trigger, that you know that these are depression symptoms. How do you then prepare yourself to what you're about to go to, like to say, okay, I'm about to get depressed. Who am I going to talk to? Am I going to be deflecting with humor? Am I going to be on alcohol? Am I going to be on drugs? How do you deflect that type of situation?
Well, here's what I think, right? Sometimes, like you're saying, humor is like a good defense mechanism. Sometimes it makes you feel better. Like, I think I'm one of those people where when I'm stressed, I can't recognize what's coming out of my mouth. You know, everyone else around me is laughing and I'm like, come, it's okay. You know, that type of vibe. And it's like that for a lot of people. Like if you ever heard the phrase, you know, the people with the biggest smile have what going inside. It's a real thing. It's a real thing because, like you're saying, you feel so pressured to be strong. You feel so pressured to hide under this cover whilst you're dying inside. And you know, it happens for a lot of people, unfortunately. And I just want to thank you guys for also just being able to share your individual experiences as men who've been through that probably more than once. And I know a lot of people watching this can relate. You know, even I have my own experience that I was not forced, but then I had never shared it with anyone, but then I shared on a platform where it was a big media event, you know, things like that. So yeah, I think you could never know. You could never know when you're like, okay, I'm about to get depressed. So here's how I'm going to deflect, you know. Sometimes things happen and then you just prompted to feel a certain type of way. So if you do not know how to deal with those emotions, if you do not know how to handle yourself, if you do not know what makes you feel better and what helps you clear your mind, you're likely to struggle. That's why it's important for people to know, okay, my not eating well, my not sleeping well, my being very temperamental is not a good thing. Okay, I can go and talk to my friend. I can go and talk to this person. We need people to know that it's okay to talk and it doesn't make you any weaker.
So just to translate what you're saying is that you should be able to identify your triggers. This is a trigger for me that will get me depressed. Right now, I'm about to get into that. And then once you get to that, you need to start preparing yourself about the journey you're about to go through for the next couple of weeks, months, years. And okay, all right, cool. I like that. Thank you very much.
Also, to add to that,
sorry.
To add to what Chris is saying, I think I get that in the sense that when you know your triggers, it's easier for you to deal with them quick. But how about those who can't pick up on their triggers on their own? Like, I know that if I start talking to myself, unlike Kudzi, if I start talking to myself, nah, no problem. You know, unlike Kudzi, that's his coping mechanism. For me, it means in the era, so I need to do something about it. If I'm sitting by myself and I'm like, yo, and I won't be speaking to myself, I'll be speaking out loud. Yeah. If I'm chilling, they're like, but today's a good day. I'm a one. That's when I'll go like visit my sister, you know, see my kids, visit my brother, see those other kids, my babies, you know, and that helps me to get out of my funk. How do people... I now know myself with no help, fine. And that's cool as being a dude. But like, how do people who... because not everyone will be as fortunate as me to figure it out without any help. Like, is it always that easy, or are there any structures to help men?
It's not an easy thing. Like, I'm also speaking from my personal experience. It's not an easy thing to recognize that, okay, this is what I'm doing. Okay, things are not well. I said it's okay. I said I don't mind, but I do mind. Deep down, I do mind. So like self-awareness is a thing even for like mental health practitioners. You know, you need to know as well, you know, here, okay, I need some time out here. Okay, this is what's happening. So for people that don't know, I think it's a learning curve. And, you know, the biggest thing for me is to remain educated, is to always be in the loop. I know mental health is probably a boring topic to some people, but then it affects all of us, directly affects all of us. And, everything that we have inside of us is what we have to offer to the world, to our friends, to our brothers with voices, to our siblings.
Brothers with voices.
To our workplaces, and if the inside is not correct, which means everything you're giving out is not correct, right? So it's like, if I wish and I pray that people continue to become more and more curious about mental health and their mental health on a personal level. Like, even I remember it took going through it to recognize that, okay, this is when things are wrong for you, Thembile. I was literally forgetting to eat. Like, I go on the second day, I'm like, hey, I haven't.
That's just that good, man. That's just that good. That's what boom, hey, I'd rather talk to myself.
I promise.
Uzothi amangwana ukuthi ngizilanda ujoke.
Precisely, And I remember.
Gentlemen, cheers to that one, guys. Cheers to that one, guys.
Cheers to that one. Hey, cheers to that one. That was a good one.
Oh no, I want to.
There we go.
So Thembile, let's come back to this. Like, I like how you said that, right? I want to come back to that particular point, right? I want to come back to that particular point because I want us to come to a point where, in the end, we want to know what we can actually do to get out of this kind of thing, right? So what kind of exercise we can do. But, you see, one thing is this. I like to be as real as they come, right? Now to open up to people. Guys, pachizimba, pachizimba. That thing, you see, I've shared with you my concern, my problem. I've shared with you my baggage, right? I've been very vulnerable to you. Right? Plus, guys, and then it becomes a circus. It just becomes a circus. So then people want to just keep to themselves because you can't speak to anyone. And a place in a country like Zimbabwe, like, look, Achaenda, okay. Okay, right? I made marriage counseling on a moon. Somebody chipa den mangwana. Ugundaro to no visa, Mari, no badara shrink, kutata marriage. That doesn't exist. So we need to come up with our own, which is talking to Tete type of vibe, right? We have our own talking to Tete, not Tete, but Tete acho. Vakatosiwawo nemurume vanetsana nemurume vane maproblems avo vanidi vakanetsana nemurume o murume akatowashupawo akabva vatongomubuta out vakati vane maproblems avo. Antituda has got their own problems too. Moenda munovaremedza tete vane maproblems avo havanawo makuenda makunovaremedza. What's the best way to deal with counseling in an African context? So we have counseling, we take it from the States, right? You go and see a shrink and stuff. In Africa, we need see.
I think when it comes to issues like this, counseling and getting help, I think you need to forget about everybody else. I think it's a huge leap of faith because, like you're saying, even if I tell you, okay, our sessions are confidential, everything you tell me is going to stay between you and I, it takes a huge leap of faith to be like, I believe you, I'm going to talk to you regardless. Even if it's you talking to your friend, for you to get to the point where you're like, I believe you, I'm going to talk to you regardless of what you may think. It takes a leap of faith for you to literally just stand up for yourself and be like, okay, at this point in time, I need the help. I needs to be healthier. I need to have a more positive outlook for my life, for myself, you know. Because then once you start saying, cause what if this person, you're considering every other person except yourself, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's the one of the ways that you really will need to fight for yourself and fight for your life, you know, because a lot of the times as a counselor where I am, I will not know most times if you need help unless you tell me, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the thing. So you will need to be in the position of being willing to share and work together, you know, to get to the point where you're like, I feel a lot better. I think I know what to do with this situation.
Okay,
So,
then, okay. Well answered. You're a professional for a reason.
Yes.
May I pin a button? May I pin a button?
Exactly.
George.
For this one, nigga. For this
There's
one.
our swing.
Guy, Mati atakupinda mahiri guy. Itobvisa emabatani. Because now, Gentlemen, what are you drinking today, by the way?
Old man is on Budweiser today, I think, because like last time they didn't have my beer, so today I had to do a beer run, and then they gave me my Budweiser today. I'm so happy about that. So I'm on Bud, but
Nice. Matsi, what are you drinking, bro?
Kakasmith.
Yes. Nasi tirikuno futi.
Absolutely.
What are you drinking?
What are you on, Thembi? What are you on?
Orange juice or pineapple. What are you drinking?
No, this is a rocky glass, sorry, of Amarula. I don't see.
Wow. Okay, Miss Therapist.
Oh, have you seen my?
Right.
I
think we're actually riding the same wave right now, right? Thembi.
Yeah.
Cheating. Pachishona tinoti kuhura. Saka ndida kuziya inini kuti kuhura chinhu chatingati is a result of mental health here kana kuti
men are just trash.
Yeah, just men are just trash, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know from different perspectives, right? From the fact yekuti I want to give you a scenario. I'm a visual person, so I want to give you like a dramatic scenario, right?
Okay.
Right? I want to tell you something that I think will cause mental health. Mukadzi anetsa padheni, mari yacho ainyatsokwane, you know, mukadzi ari kungonetsa, mufesa anobva aita se anobva explode, right? And kune chimwe chismall chinenge chingori bobobo ende chinenge chinongonzwisisa ende iye chinenge chinonzwisisa kuti mari yako inenge inokwana, unogeta, but you wanna make sure kuti kuda kuisa force kune chismall house, and you wanna make sure kuti mari yacho haide se haipere kune small house, but small house inonzwisisa, and so it seems. But mukadzi wako ari kunetsa padheni kuti iwe hausi kuprovide zvinhu zvasi kukwana, iwe kuti mukadzi wako anzwisisa kuti mari haisi kukwana. But small house manje small house zvinhu zvinofana kunge zviri bobobo because anonzwisisa. Ndokwaunoenda unobvisa stress. But paunomuka manje mangwana makuseni kudheni kwesmall house wane maproblems akawanda than watanga unawo, because one hangover, 2 hausisina mari, 3 waufana kudzokera nemukadzi wako because akakufonera usati wadaira. Saka pane mental health ndepapi takuziva kuti chii chinokonzera mental health, kuhura kana kuti mukadzi anenge apopota kuti uende kunohura.
Look at Chris, bro. Chris is like, what the hell?
Hey, yo.
Hey, ladies, be careful.
I want you to address that one, please. I want to know. I want to learn, guys. I want to learn.
It's okay. I will answer it to the best of my abilities. So,
good luck.
First of all, I think cheating is not a mental health problem.
Yeah.
I think it's an individual choice. Whether or not it's then gives you issues is also subjective to individuals. But yeah, no, cheating is not a mental health condition.
Yeah, sure.
Here's my take. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, like I said, it's a choice. This is my opinion. In case the Facebook lawyers come and get me, this is my opinion. Betrayal is not exactly because you don't love this wife.
Yes.
I think it's mostly because of the extent of the magnitude, the magnitude of the dilemma presented in front of you. You will less stress at this present moment. But then stress or now the dilemma for you has changed. Now you want to go back, So
Yes.
I think it's not a men thing either. Women cheat also, and I've seen men that have been hurt by women.
Sorry. Sorry.
To all my feminists, I love you. I am one too.
I gotta add on a little bit. Like, it's an add on and a question as well. Like it's double, like kind of. So quickly, right? So what I feel, this is my opinion as well. Of course, it's not professional. I'm not an expert in this field. I feel like cheating would be a result of stress in your family, right? I feel like, of course, as you said, it's a choice. So I feel like it is a result of, like, it's one of those, what do you call this, coping mechanisms that you take up because of mental health or mental illness or stress or whatever the case may be, to say, okay, I can't be in my house right now. I'm going to go drink. And then while you're drinking, you meet somebody, you do what you do with that person, enjoy the sexual activities and everything, right? And sometimes even cheating does not involve sexual activities. It might involve even just talking to somebody else.
Cheating
right?
emotionally.
Cheating emotionally, right? So
What's
I feel
that?
like cheating
Cheating
per se,
what?
cheating emotionally.
Some white people shit.
Emotionally,
We actually do it, but they call it cheating emotionally.
Yeah.
Like,
but
you don't
what
do anything physically with someone. You just depend on someone emotionally.
we have
Yeah,
no
but if
emotions anyway. Sorry, Chris, go.
Just go on,
what I'm saying is that I feel like it's just a result of what is happening in your life, and it's a coping mechanism. Just like how other people take up drugs, other people take up drinking, other people take up sport. It's coping mechanisms at the end of the day. So it's going to be a decision with which is the best coping mechanism. Am I going to be get into a sexual relationship? Am I going to get into a different relationship? Whatever the case may be, I feel like it's just a coping mechanism. It's not necessarily a thing where you say, okay, so I'm stressed, I'm going to cheat. But it's actually in the subconscious where you say, okay, yeah, this is going to be my coping thing. Chris drinks, so that's fine. I'm going to cheat. So I wouldn't say exactly cheating is constitute. It relates to you being mentally depressed or mentally disordered.
But
I'm going to say it is a result as a coping mechanism.
Yeah, bro.
I'd like to add to what Chris is saying. Like I agree with him to an extent, but I also think
German extend does it.
In other words, I'm being polite. I disagree with you. I'm saying it's not a coping mechanism. I think cheating would probably be an excuse, a good excuse, or in fact probably a bad one. An excuse. It's an easy excuse to not deal with mental health issues. Like if you're stressed in the house, there's a reason for it. So I think it's probably more of an excuse not to deal with what is the actual problem, and then you say that's why I cheated. It's a weak excuse for not dealing with your mental health issues. That's my opinion on that one.
I'm going to have to rope in substance abuse into this question too, so that we can all answer this.
Last week that's my hip garden. Now I don't expose that. And he does this shit all the time, man.
All the time, bro. All the damn time, bro.
Next time, Chatanga, shut your snake way.
We can't give people a big thing. Let's talk about everything, right? So the last question in this segment today would be
what about?
Ready?
That was fast.
Ready?
Bro,
I feel like this is a very
Last
big
one?
topic, bro. Why are you cutting us off, bro? We're not
no,
even
it's
done
because
talking about it.
atangari ega. Abvunza zva.
Ah,
Kuzviona.
kuona chibaranze chitamtam izvi.
As you were said,
ngatitaure nyaya yesubstance abuse Thembi. Nyaya yesubstance abuse. So we're talking about alcohol, weed, we're talking about drugs and stuff, right? This all correlates because I've heard people that told me substance abuse leads to cheating, it leads to diseases, it leads to a lot of things, right? Because you're not fully yourself. But I would tell you that there are people that are also very successful and they won't abuse that substance. They just drink because they want to drink. And there are people that drink because they're stressed. There are people that smoke weed because they're stressed, and there are people that smoke weed as a lifestyle, right? As a lifestyle. So I want you to tell me now what you think when it comes to substance abuse and how we can cope. Because someone can say, I've heard someone creatively saying one day that if I want to free myself, I'll probably go and smoke weed. Then I'll just forget about my problems and I'll be all right. And I'll be flying in the flipping clouds and stuff, right? So that's a creative way of saying it. So there's a friend of mine who is in Dubai. What?
Before you go on, remember that is my birthday weekend, so you can't diss me right now, bro.
And you ain't gonna get him Dubai. You ain't gonna get him Dubai on Madore.
Confessions.
Anyways, I'm not in Dubai. I don't
Them
stay.
place song are good Dubai and
Stay in
no bad
Dubai.
wise. Right? Are good Sipadore. So
fantastic.
what are your thoughts when it comes to mental health? Because people have this whole thing whereby if you're drinking alcohol or you have mental health issues. So I want to talk about that. And
You're just Catholic.
Yeah.
Catholic, bro. I'm Catholic. I can drink. I'm not gonna go to hell because I drink.
No, we're good.
Of course.
We're good.
Of course.
Oh,
Of
please.
course. And to be open about it, I'm also I grew up Catholic. Now I'm Pentecostal and stuff, but I have my own way of life and I rule my own way of life and I have my own way of things because it makes sense to me. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts. I feel like when it becomes substance abuse, that's a whole different game altogether. I mean, not substance use like drinking, but then when you start abusing alcohol, then that becomes a problem.
What is abuse? Because if I'm drinking, I have my own capacity, and I want to drink to have fun. And sometimes I want to drink so that I can sleep.
Sometimes I want to drink to record a podcast.
Yes, sometimes I just want to, So when does it become abuse? When it makes you drunk? But why do we drink?
Like I mentioned earlier, these things are very subjective. What gets you drunk and what gets me drunk and what gets these two drunk, different things, what gets them high, different things. So when it becomes like abuse, it's probably putting your life at risk. It's probably affecting the way you do things. So those are unhealthy habits, and if you're using it to remedy or medicate a mental health issue, that is obviously not okay because the substance will not take away the problem.
I see.
Right?
I see.
Precisely. So then we need for you to, probably when you're drinking, we don't want it to end up affecting you in negative ways, like you're deadbeat constantly. You can't even work anymore. You can't hold a conversation anymore. That means you stop being quick.
Okay, so it's okay to use a substance or drug or whatever as long as you can still do what you can do on a daily basis. Is that what you say?
That's what she said. That's
You're putting me on the
exactly what
spot
she
now.
said.
Is that what you say?
You're putting me on the spot
Exactly
now. I definitely do not have the list of approved drugs and substances and disapproved drugs and substances. But what I'm going to say is before you smoke, read the packet.
Okay.
That is the best disclaimer ever, man.
Because then, yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes we have things like substance-induced psychosis, substance-induced depression, substance-induced anxiety. Those are real things where your consumption of a certain substance is leading to a mental health condition of a certain kind.
This is very informative, right? I want to know, what do you do, and like to like, because this exercise was just but amazing. Now I feel more relaxed, right?
Bruh.
My day is gonna be great.
I'm taking my jacket
because
off,
I think with the way I feel now, it's just yeah.
I feel free, man. I'm free.
Bruh. But anyway, this exercise will benefit a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you have something that you currently have right now that we can tell people about in terms of mental health exercise that, we need to preach this, especially for brothers out there, because it's a very important topic, right? It's a very important aspect of our life. If your mental health is not in check, chances are your future is bleak, right? It's a very important thing. So what can you say, or what do you have? Do you have any social media?
Where can we reach you? We want to talk to you when we're stressed.
Yeah. What are you all about?
Right. So I will also give you my personal social media handles. So I'm not very active on Facebook, but Twitter, if you search the name Thembile, you'll find me. Instagram, the handle is Phenomenal Lady T, and Instagram it's Thembi with an IE_R, all small letters. That's my Instagram. I post a lot of mental health content on both my Twitter and my Instagram. Also, you could follow the Friendship Bench on social media. They're very active across all media platforms. They post a lot of content on mental health and these exercises, what you can do for yourself, and very informative information about the different things that you feel. So please do follow the Friendship Bench. Reach out to the Friendship Bench if you need a session. Sessions are free for this entire COVID period. All our information is all Friendship Bench information, is on our social media. So please do indulge fully, please.
And it's not only for men, even ladies. Please follow.
Yeah, everybody follow this.
Follow.
Absolutely. Everybody, all ages, all genders, absolutely everyone is welcome. We're here for you. We're here to listen to you. Don't wait until you get to your breaking point. You're special just because you're not feeling well. Okay, you're not weak.
I just felt special by that.
I just felt
special.
You're special.
You wouldn't be a human being. Like I feel like a black man matters.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, black
man matters right now.
Black lives matter for real.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for this. Thank you so much. I feel special.
But Chris, I'm just gonna write in Doma's my.
What are you talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
So I don't know.
Okay.
If you tuned into the episode last week.
Yeah, no kids are watching you, by the way. No kids are watching.
Right.
Well,
all right. I think it's okay. Okay, I think it's okay.
Let's cut it for this week. Guys. I think Thembi, thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You would have probably been talking to other people or spending your time doing other things, but you have chosen us as the Brothers with Voices to come and
audience.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you to the audience for the feedback. Thank you for everything. And one thing we can always do is that we differ in opinions, but we need to voice them. And that's the main point of this thing, right? So thank you very much for that. Chris, what do we normally say? What do we do, Chris? That's what. So Thembile, you've got this whole thing.
Hey, come on now.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, until we see you in episode 4.
Appreciate it.
Out.
Bye.
Later, guys.